What an insane ride. Tonight's episode of the 1% Club Season 5, Episode 2, was an electrifying showdown of logic, quick thinking, and pure, laugh-out-loud madness. We watched as 100 hopeful contestants battled through a series of questions that tested not what they've memorized, but how their brains actually work under pressure. All for a shot at that legendary 100 Zazen. This isn't your average quiz show. It's a brain-bending roller coaster where common sense, quirky instincts, and a dash of bravado make all the difference. If you missed it, buckle up because I'm breaking down every twist, every wild story, and the high-stakes finale. So let's dive in. The episode kicked off with a burst of cheers and palpable excitement in the studio. Everyone's eyes on that final, near impossible 1% question, which only a tiny fraction of Britain could solve. First up, we met Stacey from Northumberland, whose literal, logical, autistic thinking promised to be her superpower. That's the kind of contestant who can throw a curveball on game night. But this show knows how to keep things moving. Host Lee Mack keeps the energy sky high with fast banter, playful teasing, and questions brilliantly designed to stump even the sharpest minds. No textbooks needed. Here's how the 1% Club works and why each step is gut-wrenching. The game starts with 100 contestants, each with a 1 Zazen stake. Every question is vetted against survey results to show what percentage of the public got it right, beginning with the easiest, 90% correct, and ending with the mind-melting 1% finale. Every time someone slips up, they're out, and their 1 Zazen goes straight into the prize pot, which can soar to 100 Zazen by the end. Whoever survives the gauntlet the longest gets 10 0 then faces the ultimate gamble. Walk away happy or risk it all for the whole pot with one final, monstrous question. The first few questions seemed simple on paper, but the stress of the clock and the lure of big money proved too much for some. Cynthia, the octogenarian thrill seeker, went out on the easiest question after overthinking the drinkware versus card dilemma. Her story, flying lessons at 50, abseiling at 60, a shaved head for charity at 70, was inspiring, showing just how much personality this show packs. The 80% question quickly trimmed the herd, leaving behind only the survivors with cracking logic. Jo, the sweet shop owner, misread a tricky scenario and went out, but her chat about Maltesers, are you a biter or a sucker, had the audience in stitches. As Lee and the contestants joked their way through food preferences and jobs, you could sense that nerves and unpredictability were the order of the night. By the time we got to the 70% round, over 21 contestants were eliminated in one swoop thanks to a tricky opposites puzzle. Those fast-paced logic questions don't forgive even the slightest hesitation. Among them Hollywood, no joke, really her name, revealed she'd picked her husband partly for his comedic surname, and even that little story added a personal twist to every elimination. The questions grew nastier, making words out of letter pairs, time puzzles, number logic, and visual patterns. Richard Bounds, cloud spotter extraordinaire and self-proclaimed 5th best in the world, held on by using his pass at the right moment, a move available to all, but best played strategically. The prize pot ballooned steadily upwards as more folks crashed out, up to 39 Zazen by mid-session. As contestants dropped, the quirky banner touched everything from royalty, a butler keeping his VIP hush, to undisclosed but legendary footballers, to Phobius Bryony Chung's fear of fruit. Yes, fruit. Even the audience at home was invited to play along, keeping everyone engaged whether they were in the studio or on their couch. The pace never slowed as Lee Mack built tension and gave each eliminated player their amusing moment in the spotlight. When the contestants hit the 30% question, those who'd played their pass wisely could hang on for dear life. The rest faced the decision: take the one, Halsend and run, or brave the next brain bender for the big bucks. By the time we reached the end game, only 33 players remained. A few bailed, choosing the guaranteed cash. The fruit-phobic Bryony used hers for some much-needed hypnosis. The rest pressed ahead, fighting for their stake in a now truly massive prize pot. Steadily, the questions chopped down the pack, counting pairs of shoes, spotting lines and diagrams, recognizing games from odd lists, and cracking word puzzles. Each round, more contestants fell, often by a whisker. One missed shoe, one botched pattern recognition, one overlooked line. Lisa Horsborough made it far, dreaming of turning winnings into DIY super tools for her newlywed life, and Connor Taylor, the artsy barista, impressed with his past budgeting. For the final stretch, only Lisa and Zach Pabani remained, each with their own reason to win. Lisa eyed a life upgrade. Zach was all about splurging on a 700 pair of blue Swarovski encrusted Louis Vuitton trainers. Yes, seriously, almost all his prize for a single sneaker flex. With the pressure at a fever pitch, Zach's tactical advantage was his unused pass. If Lisa missed, it would be his game. They battled the 10% question, a secret numeric puzzle on a time limit. Lisa, heartbreakingly, went out by a single miscount, answering 15 instead of the correct 14. That left Zach as tonight's champion, a 10-0 richer and sitting in front of the ultimate decision: take the money or risk it all for the entire prize pot, which sat at an enormous 96 zeros. Zach weighed his options carefully and stuck with the safe, a 10 zeros and sensible given the unpredictable, unforgiving nature of that 1% final. Lee tempted him to peek at the 1% question, and Zach realized instantly that he wouldn't have had any clue. Proof T, sometimes cautious logic wins over gutsy gambling. So that's how this thrilling episode went down. See, a wild cast of contestants, some hilarious interviews, and more twists than you could count, all wrapped up in brain-breaking, laughter-filled entertainment. The 1% Club isn't just a quiz show, it's a celebration of logic, life stories, and the wonderfully weird ways we all think. Zach's big sneaker win might not have brought home the 96 Zazad, but it showed the drama of sticking with what you know. Each elimination brought personality, nervous jokes, and just the right amount of suspense. What do you think? Would you risk it all for a chance at $100 or play it safe like Zach? Which question stumped you the most tonight? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you enjoyed the recap, send this to your quiz-loving friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more brilliant breakdowns of the 1% Club and all your favorite intense game shows. Thanks for watching. See you at the next one.